Welcome back to TacosandGeeks.com. Justin and Sean here, and we are back with more movie reviews. And today we are going to be reviewing Fast 10. As always, to give you a brief synopsis. So here we go. Over many missions and against impossible odds. Oh Lord, it's an impossible odds. Don Toretto and his family take a shot every time we're going to say family in this one, have outsmarted and outdriven every foe in their path. Now they must confront the most lethal opponent they ever faced. Fueled by revenge, and a terrifying threat emerges from the shadows of the past to shatter Dom's world and destroy everyone and everything that he loves. I'm gonna pass it up to you, Sean, because me and you have not we're mutual ground, but there's certain things with me. I'm just like, ah. So I'm gonna pass it to you. What are your thoughts on Fast 10?
Okay, so first I'm going to give everybody a brief history of how I feel about the Fast and the Furious series. Um, Probably after 7, when I think it should have ended, and this was like after Paul Walker's unfortunate passing, and
Yeah.
I thought they should have ended it there. I thought it was the ending in 7 was the one with the bank heist and everything else. The last one Paul Walker was in, and I think Paul Walker himself was in it. And no, actually, that wasn't even the last one because
What do
it
you
was the
mean?
one after that, like when they did the whole uh when somebody else came out. I think when Jason Statham came after them, that was the last one. The Paul
Yeah.
Walker.
No, Paul Walker's last one is 7.
So which one was the one with the bank with the Brazilian
That
bank heist? That was
I
6.
think that was
That was
6.
7.
No, is it 7? I can't. I
Yeah.
think it is 7. You're right. I think it
I
is
think that
7.
was 7. So it was probably 8 that I think I uh with Jason Statham, and I think that should have ended it. Whichever one where we got, the theme song they keep playing that they play at high school and college graduations. It's been a long day and all that. That exact one. I thought it should have ended there when they had the little CGI.
Actually, it's Fast 4. I mean, I just looked it up. Sorry, it's Fast 5 where they did the bank heist in Brazil,
Okay, so then it
and
was
5-7 is the one with the "See You Again." That's the Paul Walker tribute one when he died. That's the one that
that's
he
7,
died.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seven's one. Seven's the one that should have been for me, like you said, should have been the ending of
And
this
then
entire
yeah,
series.
okay. So 7 should have been the ending, right?
Mm.
But you know what? They decided to keep going because in my opinion, it went from being a street racing when it first started, and I can tell you stories about when I went to go see it in the theaters, and it hyped up street racing like crazy. It went from a
Yeah.
street racing movie to a crime thriller to a murder mystery to it just started getting ridiculous. So I think at about 7 is when it was kind of still rooted in realism, and I think that they should have let it go.
Yeah.
But you know what? They kept going. So from that point on, I always figured the Fast and Furious franchise is just going to be a fun, physics defying wild ride that you're just going to see just for the fun of it. I wasn't expecting any story. I wasn't expecting I just went there to see how ridiculous they can actually be in every movie. Because that's what it started to become to after 7. Just how ridiculous can we be? And they went with it. They went with it to a point where it just became a meme. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything in it was a meme. Okay. So fast forward to Tuesday, and again, thank you, ScreenX, for giving us another preview in your theater. Wonderful experience. If you ever get a chance to check it out, please go check out ScreenX. And
Hmm.
trust me, it's well worth the money. So I decided, like, hey, you know what? Let me check that out. Right. Justin's like, hey, we're gonna go see it. I'm like, all right, I'm preparing myself for just a ridiculous ride. I'm like, I don't expect this to be any kind of story. I just expect this to be one ridiculous thing after another involving cars and family. Okay.
Mm.
And I was like, and from the outset, we all said, how many times did it going to say family? I'm going to give you guys
28 times.
28. I'm starting to believe in when your final count was about 30, 32, you probably right. Like it's it was so many times if we took a shot, we'd have been drunk before the end of the movie. So when we got there, I'm just like, okay, we had people in the theater laughing. We were like, everything's gonna be about family. And don't get it twisted. This is not a spoiler. It started that way. Like, here we go. Everything is family. Families are all family. And at one point I started to believe I was part of the family. I was ready for somebody to have like what do you call it?
A
A
barbecue
import, a barbecue and a Japanese import outside waiting for me. That's how much family I thought I was going into that movie. And then as we're watching the movie, something strange happened. This movie got interesting. It wasn't just fun. This movie had a story.
Mm-hmm.
And that story was kind of off the hook good.
Yeah.
I started because I had heard there are other people, other friends of ours, colleagues that had gotten a preview a day before us and they were ranting. And I was like, they're just doing that just to, keep the hype going, trolling people. But no. Justin and I sat in that theater and we're looking over and we had our other colleague Nadia there. We're just watching.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, our meme joke attitude went from that to we got fully vested in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out like what the hell happened. It was so fast and quick. It just became
no pun intended.
it just became like I was sitting at the edge of my seat watching this movie and just rooting it on, and all the ridiculous stunts started to seem reasonable because this time the stunts were reasonable, not all of them. But,
well, not the first one with the the Vatican, not that one.
Okay, that stuck to the regular. I was like, all right, this is gonna be this bullshit, but everything started to get reasonable, and then I have to say he is now the GOAT to me for villains. Jason Momoa, really pulled this franchise out of the meme joke history and started to make this movie like a movie. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I mean, the more ridiculous he got, the better the movie got.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like his ridiculous behavior made sense. And this is, like I said, this is a spoiler-free review. When you get to the end, you're just speechless.
Yeah.
And you walk out of the theater. Like, I'm not going to put it up there with the way I walked out of the theater after seeing Endgame. When I left Endgame, like, I needed therapy. I had to go sit down. I had to rethink my life. And everybody in the theater, I never left the theater that was quieter than Endgame at the end, where everybody walked out in solemn silence. But this movie, everybody walked out speechless and in like one unison. When it finally hit us, we were like, yo, what the fuck did we just watch?
And how did we get back being invested in this shit?
Like we just like I for all jokes aside, I really felt like family before. Like I was like, wait a minute. What did you guys do in this movie? This was supposed to just be a one-off joke. I mean, even to the point where I rolled my eyes when they said there are 2 more coming after this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh boy, it's like they really gonna milk this shit to. I was like, we're gonna have memes for a decade dealing with this. But at the end, this just became the story, the action, all the characters. You started rooting for people to show up and return. Like every scene you were hoping to see somebody that you remember. You started thinking back to all the previous 9 movies, and I have to say, if you go see this movie, just go sit down and watch. If you're going to be thoroughly shocked and surprised at how good this movie actually is. So kudos to everybody who was involved in this, including Vin Diesel, every single actor. Like, I'm shocked.
It's
Like I said, spoiler free.
yeah,
So I'm just telling you, like I'm in awe on this one. Please take over, bro. Like
it's definitely better than Fast 8, way better than Fast 9, for those that's wondering. If I had to rank it, I will put it up there with Fast 5, 6, 7. Obviously, it belongs in
at
those
one,
categories with
yeah, like
them.
one was
Yeah,
probably a great start, and then
yeah,
5, 6, like yo, this gets up there. It's
yeah,
kind of like the
and
same thing we said about Guardians. Like
yeah,
3 was the shit, you
yeah.
know.
And I think what really made this film work, and I think it wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for Jason Momoa, because he brought such a, like Sean was saying on social media, this rejuvenated, I should say, the franchise. Because yes, there is parts where this thing is straight meme. Oh Lord, there's even this one scene. This is not a spoiler, where him and Jason Momoa, Vin Diesel, literally keep saying family back to back. You
Back to
know
each
they're
other.
self-aware. It's such a self-aware movie now that they
And
know
they
that they're mean.
acknowledge that they're a meme. They acknowledge
Yes,
throughout the movies that they're memes. Like,
yes. This is not spoiled because it's in the trailer where they said you guys have redefined the laws of physics and everything else. So they know. I will have to say the stunts are good.
yeah,
Some might be absurd, but
yeah,
like I said, you're not going into a Fast and Furious movie looking for story, plot, or characters at this point. Now, not anymore. You're just looking for a good time. And I think what they did was to give you that. They delivered that. Jason Momoa, and I know people, when it comes to villains, people compare Joker to everything, but he is the Fast and Furious Joker. And when you see his performance and how unhinged he is, there's only a few characters that you can relate to. Go like, he can be Joker. He could be a little bit of Pennywise in certain areas with that unhingedness. So he really glued everything together. And the way they tied this up by using previous footage from other films was good. Now I'm gonna save some of my criticism for the spoiler review when we do with Nadia, and we're gonna do a spoiler review. But there is something I just gotta call bullshit on, and that has to do with the rules of death. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. Like I'll agree
Yeah,
with that. Like the
yeah.
Fast and the Furious is a long time ago. Anybody who wants to look this up on YouTube, there was a YouTuber many years ago that put out a video called "How Comic Books and the Death of Superman." No, how the death of Superman killed death in comic books. And it was a very interesting watch about how the death of Superman made it now possible that no one ever dies in comic books. Like there's
Mhm.
always a chance that they will return in some way or another and become canon again. So the Fast and the Furious, and I'm hoping somebody else, maybe one day I'll put this out, how the Fast and the Furious killed death in a
Yeah.
movie, you
How
know?
popular, how popularity in actors rise from the graves.
Yeah. And it's an amazing thing, but you know, that may be giving you too much and it may
No,
not. You just
the,
have to take it
y-
with a grain of salt and just watch this movie.
yes, in this, I will have to say a couple more things. Acting wise, good. Everybody's playing the roles to a T. I mean, it's 10 movies, guys. 10 movies. Great chemistry as always between Tyrese and Ludacris, as always.
John Cena,
Um, you
John
know,
Cena.
John Cena, John Cena
In a good
did
way.
his thing,
Yeah.
did his thing, did his thing as always. The cast is great. The cast is great. The production was great. The action was great. Music was top notch.
Mhm.
It's a fun film. I can't fault it. There are some issues that I have with it, but I gotta spoil it in order to discuss those things. So I'm gonna say my real criticism for the spoiler review. But for non spoilers,
The
I had a
good
good
outweighs the
time.
bad. Yep.
Hmm?
The good outweighs the bad.
Yeah, the good outweighs the bad, definitely. I had a good time. Like I say, this is the type of movie you're gonna have to turn off your brain, and that's not an insult to the film. It's just because if you don't turn off your brain, you're gonna nitpick everything. Like you're gonna start thinking about physics. You're gonna start thinking about death. You're gonna start thinking about, oh my god, how's this person not? Didn't this person just fall from this? How are you getting up? I know there's adrenaline, but damn it, come on! Like it's gonna be moments you're watching this film. It is a fun summer mindless blockbuster pick, and just the ending alone makes it worth it. Jason Momoa definitely the show stealer of this franchise. And you can see glimpse of Lobo in this. For those who are waiting for his portrayal of Lobo, you see big glimpses of what his Lobo might be. And if this is like an indication of similar to that type of style of his acting, the mannerisms that he was doing, that Lobo will be, I'm all for it. Well, we don't know if he's gonna be Lobo yet. I don't think it was officially announced, but um, I'm gonna give my rating. I'm gonna give this. I'm giving this a letter grade. I'm gonna give this a B plus. This was fun. This was a fun film. I had fun with it. I'm really now need to see how this is gonna end because they turned it around with this. Like I was going, like Sean said, we were going in this going like, let's just let's just go see what this is, and then after the first half an hour, it's like, all right, family. We literally everybody in the theater was counting how much time they saying family, like, and then Jason Momoa enters, and then it's like, all right, I'm invested now because he raised the stakes in this one. And that's one thing I wanted to say. There were actual stakes in this. There were actual stakes in this, and I'm just hoping this time they're gonna obey the rules in certain things. It's hard to get invested in the story, and y'all just like, nah, you ain't doing that. Like y'all retcon everything. But Sean, what are you gonna give it?
Well, I have to go a little higher. I'm gonna give this an A minus because I set the bar so low that it shot past my expectations. So, and this is not me saying that to be like, oh, no, this is my honest to God opinion about how, like, I didn't set the bar low like it was gonna be trash. I set the bar low as far as me going into this movie searching for like a meaningful story. Like, because there are movies you go to, it's the same way you go see a Nightmare on Elm Street movie or a Halloween or Friday the 13th movie. It's going to be trash horror, but you're going for the fun of it. You're going for the ridiculous kills. You're going for the ridiculous characters. You're going to be that person in the theater screaming like, hey, don't open that door. You buy your ticket knowing that you're not looking to be frightened. You're not looking for that thrill. You're looking to go have fun. So the bar was set at a low fun level for me, just to say, as long as I'm entertained by everything, I can say this movie is all right. But like I said, I set that bar to that level, and it shot way past it. So I'm gonna give it an A minus. I'm gonna say that Jason Momoa is, again, like he's the GOAT of this movie. And whoever did the casting to pick him for this is a GOAT for picking him. Because I thought it was going to be, I was like, this must be like, hey, James Gunn let most of us go, so we'll just pick anything. But no. He was a GOAT. All the characters they picked in there, well placed. I'm going to give it an A minus, just my opinion. I'm pretty sure there are going to be people out there like, these guys. So if you're watching this review, just know this review is set to just tell you that this was a very fun pre-summer movie that is worth the ticket price, because we all know inflation and everything is ridiculous. This should not be on a streaming service until it makes it, and I'm hoping this weekend it blows everything away because it is worth it. And who knows, I might just have to go see this again. So
I was actually thinking seeing it again too. It's like Sean said, to wrap it up, it's a fun film, guys. It's a fun film. Do not go in there expecting, this is summer blockbuster season, so don't go in there, especially for my film peeps out there, the critics and everything else, who are always looking for such an art house type of film. And
it's not an Oscar film.
This is Fast and Furious, okay? Like, just go in there, have fun, enjoy some of the absurdity that you're gonna see. And you're like, what the hell? But like, you know what? I'm invested. In some ways, it has kind of like this now B movie fun type of feel to it because they do ham it up a little bit, and it does feel like kind of that '90s action type of cheese type of style, but it works, and you're gonna enjoy it. So
just go in there preparing to be family.
But that's it.
That's it.
And we're going to wrap this up. Justin and Sean from tacosgeeks.com. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you're watching this on the YouTube. Hit that notification bell because that is very important. Did you see Fast and Furious 7? I mean, excuse me. Wow. Fast 10. I have 7 on the brain. Did you see Fast 10? Comment below. Let us know. What did you think? What are your thoughts? And of course, hit us back up later because we're going to be back with the spoiler review where we get to discuss all the stuff that we really, really want to say and discuss. So we'll catch you on the next one. Later days. Peace.
Yeah.